Hello, it's Em again, and this is the first video of the new year, and I'm going to show everything I've done last year in 2019 and show my new year plans and resolutions, not just concerning the projects but also just in general things connected to the channel. So at first I thought I would just do like what I did and then move on to what I plan to do, but I realized that a lot of things here are WIPs, actually, works in progress. So they're both something I worked on this last year, and also things that I'm going to have to work on in the next year. So they're just, everything is connected so far. Well, the craft spots, I think, are the only things that I know I finished and I won't be working on in the future because they are done, and some of the jewelry as well, it's done. That's why I won't have to work on them anymore as well, but the rest is sort of both categories. And later on I'll just talk about the plans I have for the future of the channel. Okay, maybe let's first focus on crafts and then move to FlossTube and crochet, because there are the most projects in the cross-stitch genre of the things that I do. Okay, so first, the diamond painting. If you've watched my summer projects, movies, this was something I wanted to finish during the summer, and I didn't manage to. I didn't manage to both find the time to do it, but also some of the diamonds were missing, and that's why it's still unfinished. I'm still waiting for the company to send me those drills. They are missing here, for example, and the ones I spotted first, so those I think they will be like lilac blue kind of shade. So it's almost finished, but not quite. But I think once the drills come, it will be a question of one day to put all the drills missing into their correct spots, and then I guess matting, or maybe not matting, but just covering it with some glue. I had Mod Podge to do that, or Mod Pod. I don't remember which is the correct version to say it. And then I'll just cover it, wait for it to dry, and then it will be ready finally. So I think that's probably like 2 days of work, and it's done. So that's a project that I worked on this year. I was hoping to finish it much earlier. If I had worked on it during the summer as previously planned, I would have noticed the company back in August or September, and I guess I would have received the drills so far and I would have finished. But sadly, no, this didn't happen, but definitely next year. So this should be next year, when I do it next time, it should be like proudly as something I finished in 2020. So this is done. And this is my New Year's resolution. I want to finish this diamond painting, and this one is a round diamond painting. So this will be something new, new and different to me. Something new to learn to do. So I hope to, well, I will definitely work on it. I hope to finish, but knowing how much it took me to do the last diamond painting, let's say I want to have 2/3 done within the year, because I also have other things to do, not just diamond painting, so I can't really fully commit to this. But it will be a really nice thing to actually finish, really find this way to do it. I have one more diamonds painting to wait for me to do it, but let's not make it into a resolution yet. I really want to make resolutions that I actually can complete and finish. So let's have this just as my New Year's resolution and just the 2/3. Okay, next maybe craft pod, because there are a lot of makes here, so something to be really proud of, and a little bit to make as well. So that's, I think, was in the first, those two were in the first craft pod. This one I did pretty quickly, just what was left was finishing the back in here, and then it took me a few months to actually do it, this booklet, because it involved sewing, and I'm not really good at that. Still not very good at that, but getting better, so that is a big plus. And that was, as far as I remember, that was the summer of 2018 pod. Then in autumn of 2018, it was this mushroom and embroidery like that. I remember this embroidery took me a day to finish. Really quick, nice thing to do. The mushroom took me quite a few weeks, just because I started it and then I had a break and then did it again, and then something was I think annoying me with this. I think there was something with the glue that I didn't really know if I have enough of it, and just sort of, it took me a long time, but it's still quite a nice thing to have made. Then the winter of 2018, this fox also took me quite a while because of the embroidery thing, and I don't know, just sort of not I don't like working, I think, on embroidery in those 3D shapes. Just in general, 3D shapes fool me, kind of. And this quite pretty thing, it wasn't a long time. And I actually finished this one nicely. It's glued in here, so really it's ready to hang somewhere. And the summer of it's spring of 2019. So this embroidery applique of a bird still needs to be like finished exactly, so glued like here, but the most important part is done. And the pincushion that I finished really recently, so I think in the last CraftTube I talked about this one, and this was my, I think, only finished like in that a period of time, so that's also something I did. And as New Year's resolutions, this is the summer and autumn, because I still haven't received my winter one. Craft pod, I know it wants to zoom, but that's really something I want to do. So the summer of 2019 project, I don't really remember. I know it was beautiful. I know I was really excited to do that, but to be honest, I don't really remember anymore what it was. Oh yes, the bee applique, bee and flowers, and there was something more. Oh, let me just, oh, okay, that I'm not very excited about, because I'm not really good at baking, and this is a cheesecake recipe, but I guess maybe with time I will learn how to cook and bake, and I will actually do it. But I remember this one was a really sweet thing to do, so and there's a tea, there's still a tea, so I get to drink the tea. And this tea is honeybush and berry punch, acai berry punch. So this will be something nice to try. So that's that. And the autumn one, this was a really big one, as you can see. Okay. So there will be a tote bag to embroider, and this tote bag took a lot of space here. There are some bobbins for embroidery for you to like punch out and use, because we get a lot of embroidery floss in each craft pod. So yeah, there's this embroidery for the tote bag. Of course, you can use it in other places as well. And the other project is a brooch. Actually, that's something unique, I think, to make a brooch. And a Ceylon black tea for you to try. So that's also something really interesting. And like I said, I was hoping to get a winter one, but there must have been some problems at the post office. Probably the postman left it at one of my neighbors, and they did not bring it to me. Okay, so oh, where were you now? I think in the autumn one. Just okay. So the craft pod is done. Now, bullet journaling. I started it at the beginning of the new school year, and at the beginning it worked really fine. I took a lot of notes. I used it a lot. Actually, this is something that I use most, this future sort of log or plan. And yeah, the topics, numbers of lessons, quizzes, things that my students did during the lesson. It sort of worked fine for a while, and then it just sort of started like that. That really, I didn't write so much about it. And that's the December. And that was basically all I've done here. So there's still a lot of pages left in this bullet journal, but I'm going to leave it as my like YouTube planner or something, not use it anymore as a normal day-to-day bullet journal, because I will move on to this one. I worked a teeny tiny bit. I think last time I showed you it was just this, and now I, well, only did a bit of gridding, not in color yet, and planned my index, and that's it. I will have to work on it in the next few days before the school starts, so I have a few days to work on it still. I'm really not best at pre-planning things and doing them really early. But I really hope for New Year, this is my New Year resolution, to work more with the bullet journal and to actually make it youthful and worked on and worked with. So that's that. And then jewelry making. That's one bracelet that I did. As you can see, this part of the clasp is missing, so I can't really use it. I hope with the clasps that I had bought, I will be able to actually do it, finish it and wear it. And this is actually my final make of 2019. I did it just before leaving to a party for the New Year's Eve. I had done, and I had shown you this Kumihimo bracelet. It just needed the clasps, so the clasps are finally done. They are magnetic clasps, so they are quite easy to be joined together, which is important for me. But ta-da, it works. It is a bit short, I have to say. That's next time I make a bracelet, and I will, because I have in other colors, I will have to make it a bit longer, because it's not as long as I thought it would be. It's not very tight, but it doesn't move really freely, so this is something to work on for the future. But I did it. It's my really last make of this year. Well, not this year anymore, 2019. So for the future, I want to do another Kumihimo bracelet. And with the things I received last time, and I showed you in the last CraftTube, make this bracelet and make some crochet stitch markers with those and some clasps. So that's the jewelry part done. And now crochet. Well, obviously you can see that. That was also in my summer projects. I don't know why it's on the left side. Yeah, this is the right side. I put it wrong as my blanket to sit on. At the beginning of the summer, I didn't have all the squares, so I had to make them during the summer, and that was my summer project. And I joined them later on to make it into one big blanket. Now what I have to do is to finish the blanket. Actually, I need to work on one of those one of these joinings, because it's done too tight and it pulls the squares together in a way that I don't like. So I need to improve on that, and then I need to make a border around the whole blanket. So that's quite a short thing to do, but by a short one I mean it will take me some time, because first I want to finish the rosetta. Rosetta also only needs a border right now, and I am on the second round of the border. According to design, I think there are 5 rounds, actually, not rows, 5 rounds of the border. I'm on the second one, and then I will see if it's big enough already to leave it at 5 rows or to make one more. But it's really something that shouldn't take me very, very long, even though it's a lot of stitches. I think one length, I think the longer one is like 275 stitches long and 215 wide. So that's around 1,000 stitches each round. So it will take some time, but I guess it's just a few days of work. And then Rosetta will be finished, because all you then have to do is block and it's ready. So I think I should finish both these blankets in January, or at least this one in January and this one in February. And when it comes to crochet, I don't have any more apparent projects that I know I really have to make next year. But as my New Year's resolution, I want to design something myself, because so far I've only been doing things that somebody else designed, like Rosetta or Last Dance on the Beach. The only thing I did was like this little applique that I lost somewhere, with an exclamation mark, just sort of as a mark of a teacher's strike. And that was it. And I really want to design something myself. And I also want to make some piece of clothing, because that's something I was so far afraid of. So I want to do it next year as a New Year's resolution. So for crochet, I only have 2 resolutions: design something myself and make some piece of clothing. But of course, I will be making stuff with crochet all the year. Okay, and FlossTube. Floss, cross stitch. I have a lot of WIPs, I have to say. I didn't expect to have so many when I started this hobby of mine. Okay, first, this is something I actually did pre-channel, but it's still in 2019. So these are parts of an embroidered egg for Easter. There are 3 parts, there should be 4, but obviously I lost one. It's cut, as you can see, not really in the nice way. So probably for next Easter I will actually have to correct it and repeat that. One thing I learned here is that this floss, it's metallic, not really the best one for working. It's I don't know how to say that. It splits a lot. It's kind of scratchy, sort of rough on the fingers, so not my favorite one to work with. But the effect is, in my opinion, magnificent. So I actually love it. Anyway, it was also my summer project that didn't actually get finished yet. Oh, I have 2 needles. Huh, okay. So this is in a lot of ways improved on, because almost every part is started in this, or finished. This is a pillowcase. So what I have to do is finish filling in those squares. Then there are little details like that in the same color as this one around this one. Then I have to finish these around here. Those droplets also around the whole pillowcase. And then there are details like arcs around those droplets and 1 more droplet here, and then it will be done. If I manage not to lose floss, because this one, this project, I don't know, is cursed or something. I kept on losing different threads to finish it. So if I manage not to lose the floss, I will finish it next year. So that's one New Year's resolution. This is something I started in December and didn't get around to finishing it. This is for a Christmas bauble. It obviously will be a big one, so you can't really put it on a Christmas tree, but as a decoration. And I only managed to finish 1 part out of 4. This one is the second, and the other 2 are a completely different design. It's like a house, a cabin probably, in the forest, in the woods, with fire and so on. So this one, I will have to finish it before next Christmas. This is Miranda, my Heaven and Earth design, and this is the project that I try to use the parking method, because I usually do cross-country stitching. This one is where I try a parking method, and it's working okay right now. It's just that I don't get to spend a lot of time doing it. And it's mostly violet, grayish tones so far, so not particularly interesting design yet. This one is the stag head. So most of it is done. I just need another antlers here, and that's it. So shouldn't take me long, because obviously I won't finish Miranda this year. It's a given. Definitely not finish, but I will improve on it. This is the fairy, and it's only a skirt of hers. Definitely will get worked on. Will it get finished? Not so sure. With so many WIPs I have going on, might not get finished, because it's still quite a lot to do on this one. Tea is almost finished, so it should get finished this year, because I only have to finish this orange, this tea bag here, just need some details on it, and the teacup, also just small details. So this should get finished in 2020. This is Harry Potter's crest. Might get finished, but my New Year's resolution is do something connected to Gryffindor, because I haven't done anything connected to Gryffindor, so that's what I have to make. This is my New Year's resolution, but so far it looks like this. And the Virgo. Virgo is something I'm really proud of, because I finished 2 pages. And that's something. It's the first full coverage cross stitch that I started. It's first really big project that I started to make, and it's the most advanced of all of them, so I really am proud of, and it looks beautiful. I hope to, for the next year, finish the top part, and I should be able to do that, and move on to more details in the second row. So quite a few pages to be done here. Okay, so this is the end of my crochet, cross stitch, craft, WIP parade, or just project parade and resolutions for the next year. Now let's talk about channel resolutions. First of all, I want to make videos now every week. Because so far I've been doing them twice a week. I wasn't really sure if I will have enough of things to show you each week, but I realized that it is possible for me. I will be able to do that. So the idea is to have like the design of FlossTube, then crochet, then again FlossTube, and CraftTube. Yeah, so FlossTube twice a month, because this is something that I work on the most, and I will be able to show you something every 2 weeks, because even if there is 1 week that I don't work on anything, I will work the other week. And with crochet and craft stuff, once a month it will get done, because I think more or less this is how long it will take me to actually focus on craft as well. So FlossTube, crochet, FlossTube again, and some crafts. It might be craft pod, it might be those crochet stitch markers, bracelets, jewelry, things like that. So this is something that I want to do. First, publish, post YouTube videos more often. Another thing, I want to just develop the channel in a more technical way. I mean, add some effects like sounds, music, possibly adding text somewhere here, or even photos. I really don't know how to do that yet, but I want to learn. Last year I learned how to add thumbnails, so now it's time to improve something more and do something more, and possibly invest in some equipment like lighting, because well, it's winter time now, so we don't get a lot of sunlight. I need to use just the lights in my room, or right now, thankfully, to the Christmas tree, I get to use some lights from the Christmas tree. But I really want to make a better quality videos, so I will need some better equipment anyway. Also, I've decided to start an Instagram account and show daily my improvements on any craft or crochet or FlossTube that I'm making. So you can join me, follow me on Instagram. It's Beginner Crafter, so I'm keeping my name in Instagram as well. When it comes to other things I want to show on my channel, not just designing my own things and making some crochet clothing, because obviously designing, I also am thinking about designing my own crochet, I've talked about crochet, designing my own cross stitch things. I guess those crochet stitch markers would also be something I will design, but oh yeah, let's count it as my own design as well. But I also want to learn some new crafts, and I've looked at a few things that could be interesting for me. Definitely I will learn how to make flat kumihimo bracelets, because that's already my New Year's resolution, and those crochet stitch markers. But I also have to think between needle tatting. I already have needles for it because I was thinking to learn that last summer, but I realized that it doesn't work well for me, so maybe I'll give it a go this year as well. The other option is black work that I want to try. It's connected to cross stitch. It's just worked mainly in back stitches, usually with darker thread, like black, but it's not obligatory. And also something I found very recently, sashiko. And sashiko would be maybe good for me because it would introduce me to working with fabric. And my really long-term kind of goal is to maybe stitch something, maybe make my own clothing whilst like hand sewing. But it's a really long-term goal. So I really have to make a decision between these three absolutely new for me crafts, but I will keep you posted and I will show you what I've made. Maybe I will do all three, maybe just one, but my New Year's resolution is to learn at least one new crafts. So if you want to see my progress, how I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel. Obviously like the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And thanks for watching, yeah, see you next week. Bye.